Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Carvel. Thanks for the intro. I lead up the digital marketing team at Retail Me Not. Hopefully, you've all downloaded the Retail Me Not app already, but if you haven't, we are a consumer savings destination, and we try to influence consumers' purchasing decisions by connecting them with the savings content that is most relevant to them. So, quick show of hands, just like wake up the room a little bit. How many of you, like me, check your phone before you go to bed and as soon as you wake up? Okay, that's a pretty good show of hands. I feel like those of you who didn't raise your hand either have really great self-control, so kudos to you if that's the case. If not, you might be lying, but I won't call you out on it. So it's obvious, right? We all are inherently utilizing our mobile devices so much more than we have in the past. We bring this device with us everywhere, and we're seeing that in the way that people use shopping apps. So over the last 2 years, global time spent in shopping apps has increased 45% since 2016. Not surprisingly, as marketers, we're shifting our dollars to the place where our consumers are. So in 2018, we spent 65% of our total advertising dollars on mobile, and that is up 600% since 2012. So in the last 5 years, we have grown those advertising revenue to really capture our consumers where they inherently are while they're checking their phone before they go to bed and when they wake up. So the question we really ask ourselves is, are we doing this in a data-driven way? Frank Bien said this really recently. He's the CEO and president at Looker. He said, data is the new application. So quick poll for the room. On a scale of 1 to 10, as a marketer, how do you all feel you're utilizing your data right now? So 1 to 2 being like you're not really capturing your data in the way that you'd like to. There's a lot of data discrepancies. 5 to 6 being like you're doing what you can. There are some data discrepancies, but, you could be doing better. You could be activating on it. And 10 being like, I'm perfect. Everything is perfect. So who's a 10? Anyone? Okay, I would be really surprised if anyone raised their hand. How about like 5 to 6? Okay, a few of you. Is anyone in the kind of 1 to 2 range, maybe 3? Okay. So not surprisingly, we're capturing all of this data, and there's so much more that we can be doing with it. 91% of consumers said that they prefer when a brand shares personalized offers and recommendations with them. And 74% are willing to actively share their data in order to receive that experience. And recently, with a Retail Me Not study, we found that 69% of consumers are willing to go into a retailer location when they receive a personalized offer on their mobile device. And we actually see that people are starting to be much more willing to share really data that's really close to them. So more than half of our consumers opt in to share their location data because they know that they will receive an experience that is personalized to them and nearby to them. So let's talk a little bit about the acquisition funnel. So shopping apps, on average, kind of go through this funnel of you spend all of your acquisition dollars to get this initial install, but it doesn't stop there. The engagement doesn't stop there. It's about getting a consumer down through the funnel to register, to share their email address, maybe create an account, and then ultimately make a purchase. And so 91%, if you can see here, 91% of people are dropping off this funnel. Only 8.6% are actually going from install down through the funnel to purchase on average. So how do we really make these numbers higher as a whole? So the time it takes on average for a consumer to make a purchase after install is a little less than 11 days. A lot of things can happen within that first 11 days. And actually, it only takes about 5 minutes and 39 seconds for a consumer to register once they install your app. And that doesn't even think about all of the things that happen before someone installs your app, all of the ads that they're seeing, all of the brand conversations you're having in the digital marketplace. So let's call this 5 minutes and 39 seconds your first impression. And bear with me for a second because it might seem like I'm changing the subject, but I promise that I'm not. But let's talk about first dates. So when you go on a first date, you really want to have a good first impression in that immediate, 5 minutes. You want to look at, what am I wearing? Do I have food in my teeth? Like, how does my hair look? We're all looking at these kind of initial signals that show that we care about this first impression that we're making on someone. It's the same with consumers. So in this 5-minute and 39-second period before they register, it's important that we capture their intent and communicate the value of our app. So this happens before the initial install. We're showing someone an ad that says they can claim $20 cash back in one click, and immediately when they click on that ad, we want to show them the relevant experience in the App Store and the Play Store so that they can see the value of the app before they even install. On a first date, again, you don't want to just talk about yourself the entire time. We want to ask what our partner is interested in. Tell me what you like. On the right here, this is a screenshot of our onboarding experience. So in that first 5 minutes, we are asking our consumers, tell me what categories you're interested in. And I'm selecting, as part of this onboarding experience, I really like health and beauty, and this will become relevant in a bit. So again, first impression is so important to not only capture those kind of passive and active signals, but also those passive signals to show that we're listening to what you're doing. So again, first dates. This is a screenshot from A Walk to Remember, for those of you who have seen that movie. It's an old one, back when Mandy Moore was in her prime. But she tells Landon on this first date that she wants to be in 2 places at once, and that's one of her things on her bucket list. And he immediately takes her to the Virginia and North Carolina state line on their first date. He was listening to what she was telling him. And that's exactly what we have to do with our consumers. So if you remember one slide back, I told Retail Me Not that I was interested in health and beauty, and now as soon as I go through the onboarding experience, again, I'm in that first 5 minutes and 39 seconds, I see an ad for Ulta and Sephora, and I'm immediately captured my attention with regards to showing beauty deals. That's what I'm interested in. So let's talk about the next part of the funnel. So in the same way that you have this time period of relationship building when you're dating before you seal the deal, we have this, let's call it 250 hours roughly, that you have to seal the deal and really get your consumer to purchase. And it's really important that throughout that entire time frame, we're using the signals, both active and passive, that they've given us. So if you remember, when I was in that first 5 minutes, I said, I'm interested in health and beauty deals. I immediately saw that when I went through the onboarding experience, and now I'm receiving a cashback offer from Sephora. So from the initial click of the ad where I said, I'm interested in cashback, I immediately said I'm interested in health and beauty, and now I'm seeing the value of that. So, of course, the relationship building phase doesn't end with a purchase. There continues to be a period of time when you need to nurture the relationship. And at some point, your consumers may fall into a bucket of lapsed or churned users. And maybe they went through the registration funnel, but they never did make a purchase. This is when it becomes inherently important that we collect the right data and the right signals to show the right experience to our consumers. So again, when you're in a relationship, it doesn't end with, okay, we had maybe an official conversation. Maybe you didn't yet. At this point, maybe you start to buy gifts or flowers. That's kind of the paid re-engagement part of this, right? So as marketers, we are paying to re-engage consumers who have told us things that they're interested in. And maybe at some point, you actually learn from that experience. As with dating, you're going to take your experience and bring it to the next one. And that's where data comes in, using the right signals to find the right new audiences. So this funnel is really interesting to me. So when we look at paid signals and using those in our own marketing, we're oftentimes sending, what creative did someone click on? What was shown in the App Store or the Play Store. And we're funneling that into our own channels so that we can show them the relevant experience, like I showed you earlier with regards to getting a Sephora push notification as soon as I said I was interested in health and beauty. But it's also very important that we funnel all of the data from our own channels into paid so that we are finding the right consumer. So if someone has fallen into that lapsed bucket, we know, okay, maybe the first 30 days of your experience with us, you were clicking on only ads that were food and dining related. So let's follow up with you with a food and dining ad to re-engage you. Let's give you some free Taco Bell tacos as an example. It's also really important that if they've totally fallen out of the funnel, maybe it's been 6 months, it might be important to not retarget that person because they're more likely to waste your acquisition dollars. It's also really important in an automated way that we share the data from our own channels so that if someone is actively engaging, we're not paying to re-engage them because they've accidentally fallen out of that funnel. So that's when it comes more important to get from our kind of 5 to 6 level of confidence in data down to maybe 8. I would say we'll never get to a 10, but making sure that our data is really, really clean and that we can utilize it to retarget the right user is really important. So 3 takeaways from this that I hope you all end with is the way that we use data to create better experience. Think about that when you are not only targeting current audiences and building out your lifecycle marketing, but also when you're targeting new audiences. And make sure you're looking at both passive and active signals. So with passive signals, it's important that you show that you know your users and exclude those active signals from your acquisition targets so that you can save your acquisition dollars and spend them on the right people. So I hope you all have fun making lots of first impressions today. Thanks so much.